Hey, it's me, ProJared, and this is something a little different. This is a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time ROM hack, but in case you can't tell, it's gonna be a little wacky. This is a ROM hack of Ocarina of Time that turns it into Phoenix Wright. I actually love the Ace Attorney series. I've played through all the games and I adore them. And I thought maybe this could be a fun little quick playthrough. It is a couple hours long, so we'll get a few episodes out of this. But if you haven't seen a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney game before, it is basically almost cartoonish courtroom drama, and they somehow took that concept and put it into Zelda. It looks like it's taking a hot minute to load up or render. There we go. I was doing that when I was trying to use the settings as well. This game autosaves after each scene. Don't turn your console off. And that's the weird thing, is that you actually can't put the ROM on a cartridge and play it on your console, which is also what I'm doing on my legal N64 that my dad got from his uncle that works at Nintendo. Okay. Yeah, I thought this would be fun. If you want more of a story time kind of playthrough, that this will be for you. Which, you know, I'm feeling. Maybe take a break from magic for a little bit. I don't know why this is struggling so much. It's like locking up. It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? It's gonna be a lot of dialogue. Forget a royal visitation? No one could make such a blunder, princess. Oh no, did Zelda do a murder? Well, I guess I should just go in then. Oh, that's a different looking Zelda. Oh no! Oh my god! Oh! Oh no, Malon's so dead and... Or Talon's so dead and maybe Malon did it? I think every single Ace Attorney case, it's a murder. It's always a murder. Someone walks in and sees a murder. Now solve the murder. Every single time. It's kind of glorious. I don't know why this is struggling so much. Let me check a setting real quick. Alright, I made some adjustments. Should be running way better now. March 17, 9:37 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. Defendant Lobby number 3. This is just like a 1-for-1 of the outside the courtroom. It's got the 2 guards there and everything. You'd think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. So why am I shaking? Guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her, though, where is she anyway? Hey, you over there! Huh? What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But we will be soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Wahaha! Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. He wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, he blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry, she'll definitely be here before the trial. Great! That'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. Some of us would kill to get 5 minutes with Zelda. There's nothing I can do but wait. This is amazing. Like, and if you play the Ace Attorney game, like, this is incredible. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can you keep her? Ah, see, there she is. No need to get all worked up. Ah, is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No. Don't worry, everything's fine. This is Malon. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. If everything's fine, why do you look so worried? Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? She's just doing like the same animations as Maya. It's incredible. Yes, the investigation. I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. Is the prosecutor gonna be Gannondorf? What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what'll happen to me if I'm found guilty. He doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so we wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I never. Of course I believe you. Yeah, of course I believe you. Sorry, just remember I had my air conditioner running, so I turned that off. Although I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you've got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of Father I carry around. Evidence? With Ingo, I just can't believe he's gone. I wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh? How so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Oh, well, here you go then. Malin's pictograph has been added to the court record. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. Oh, please. Yeah, look at this inventory. Malin's pictograph. Press A to view. Yeah. And then attorney's badge. Proof that I can stand in court as an attorney. That's just the medallion of light. Profiles, Malin, age 27? You know what? Good. My longtime friend and the defendant in the case. Talon, deceased, the victim. Owner of Lon Lon Ranch and Malin's loving father. But wait! We shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to... The trial is starting. Defendant, attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright. Everything will be fine. The prosecutor's been playing me for a fool since this began, but sooner or later, his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. Amazing. I love this. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases, and lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malin's life, I gotta find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this! Hope you're all ready for drama. It is Gannondorf, I knew it! Oh, Rauru's the judge? That's kind of perfect. Court is now in session for the trial of Malin of Lon Lon Ranch. Oh, God! Oh, he looks awesome! The defense is ready, Your Honor. I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking paying me against some pathetic kid? This music, just being like Ace Attorney-defied Zelda music, is also fantastic. Pathetic kid? What gives you the right to... Still your tongue. You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Oh, because they're both redheads. Long before the world shall know the horrible deeds you've committed. Is he just acting like Von Karma? Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? Now, this course is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. The girl did it, it's obvious! She killed her own father in cold blood! Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you? You greedy little rat! Dude, even just like the mouth animations is so good. Sorry about this cough. Your Honor, you wouldn't allow this man to verbally abuse the defendant like this? Objection! She committed the murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe there's a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Bleh. I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all of the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to a judge like that? Gannondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently, he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades. All while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I've heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. Definitely has that look, at the very least. Who wears full armor to court? Link mimicking Phoenix's, poses. I love it. Very well, please present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Impa of the Sheikah Force to the stand. Oh, is Impa Gumshoe, but maybe not an idiot? Here we go, first battle. I know Impa, she's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. Oh, she's got a detective hat and everything. Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now, stop wasting time! Name and occupation! Oh, man. Very well. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking! You're the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement? I suppose I could do the prosecutor's job for him this time for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened nearly yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I have seen the man around Castletown a number of times, delivering goods. Quite. The owner is a rather important figure in the local community. The owl music. I'm in love. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter, Malin, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and succinct. Keep that up and perhaps you will keep your job. Well, I don't think the good detective here has very much to worry about that, given she's head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of the detectives herself on a case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. I am not usually involved in fieldwork like this. This time, however, the King felt it necessary because of who was involved. Who is involved? Is the death of the ranch worker really such a concern for the King? By the way, in the if you've ever played the Phoenix Wright games, the judge is kind of a buffoon. And they seem to be possibly following through this on Judge Rauru here. Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. Imagine the King wanted the top investigators on the job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Order! I will have order! The royal princess Zelda witnessed the crime? And there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt would be your doubt to your own royalty. This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. Some cross-examination time. Witness testimony. It's all written in Hylian. Amazing. It's with regret that I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch. The victim, the defendant, and the worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. Oh, Ingo? The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seemed like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have the autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Okay, that's probably going to be important. Here's what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. Like a saw, yeah. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see if anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. Ranch inventory. Okay, good.
That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene.
Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're gonna paint Mail in some heartless monster. And there was one more thing I feel I should mention, for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments.
Of course, business must go on.
Is this really necessary to enter into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally. Who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out only to be milk bottles, so we let them through.
Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, Detective.
Milk shipments. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How's that work? I've played these games, don't you worry. Could you explain what you're doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. Nah, there's no time. Sorry, but there's no time for that. We have to get started right away. Oh, alright then. I'll just try my best to follow along. You know what you're doing. I sure hope so. This might not be easy. The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Good pose.
A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. Please begin the cross-examination.
There we go. And this is where we start getting into good stuff. We gotta find the contradictions. Should we go over testimony? Oh, good. Alright. Let's go over all our evidence first. The autopsy report. Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Okay. The saw. Supposed murder weapon found in Malon's hands. Clean of blood. The ranch inventory. Let's take a look at that. Let's see. Written by Mingo. Rakes, garden hose, buckets, hammers, knives, wood saws, saddles, horseshoes, axes, brooms, scythes, shovels, flails, trowels, post powders, pounders, drag harrows, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse carts, towing harnesses, and cow nose rings. Okay. I don't know if that's going to be very relevant right now. I mean, this seems like the biggest contradiction right here. Is like, this weapon has no blood on it, so what do you mean? Alright. Let's see. We determined the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. There are only 3 people. Let's press her on that. Hold it! 3 people, you say? I guess it would have to be Mr. Ingo.
Objection! Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of what the detective said, you'd notice she mentioned an alibi.
Indeed, we're pretty certain that the ranch worker could have been involved. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker Ingo was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipments after that. Is that so? Surely he could have gotten away from that one really quick little murder.
Objection! This wouldn't be just a quick little murder, as you crudely put it. He'd have to take steps to hide his involvement, too. There was definitely not enough time for that.
Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out into them, arrange them all into crates, and finally load it all up onto a wagon. Usually I had to do it together with Father to finish before the courier arrived. The shipments were already ready when we arrived at the ranch. When we checked the boxes, they were already fully loaded with filled milk bottles. So this Ingo was able to do the work of 2 people on his own. Isn't that a bit odd?
Objection! Odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly he's a man dedicated to his job. Or perhaps the girl and her father are just very inefficient.
This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. So we also got, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. Let's press on that. You're sure? Because the saw doesn't have any blood on it. And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report.
Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object.
The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all other sharp things on the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one.
Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon.
Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw.
So you have nothing? What a waste of time.
No. Check this out. We go to court record, and then we present the saw. Along with the... Objection! Huh. This seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene. Is doing the back of the hand against the paper thing. That's correct. That's strange, considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon?
Is that all you have?
What?
Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold! This cloth was found in the defendant's other hand!
This is how courtrooms actually work. They just get to dramatically reveal evidence at the right time. Right? That's how it works.
As you can plainly see, it is stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement.
Objection! If Mel was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene?
Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene.
It's a lot of conjecture.
Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the bloodied cloth into evidence.
So, what's the story with this cloth? Yeah, indeed. Let's take a look at that. Found clutched by Malin at the crime scene. Supposedly she wiped the saw clean with this? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the saw slipped and it cut my hand open. Oh goodness, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used the cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence.
Ha! A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah force had to use a ferry on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. That's amazing. Amazing that they kind of logistically are using Zelda items like that in this context. That's just good. That's good stuff. I love this. I hope you love this too. Let me know. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below and all that, because I would love to hear your feedback. And if you guys aren't digging this, then we don't need to play the whole thing. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. She knew that would explain a sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Oh, yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day I slammed my hand on with the gavel, and one took the pain off immediately. Great. But I didn't know they were used for such important things. But, dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth. I do believe this matter has been settled. I am ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Begone! Fine. But you had best treat her highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah! A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me! Ah, so cool, so edgy. Then perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order, order! I'm sure I will treat the princess with utmost respect. You may step down, detective. Cross-examine Zelda next? This case has already made me weary with all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call her highness, Princess Zelda of Hyrule, to the stand. She looks more like her Link to the Past self. Something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden? Your Highness. I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Ugh. In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Name and occupation, now! The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. Oh, man. It's all right, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment. Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. Not evil. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current Princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne. Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident? It's simple, really. Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. Father loved to boast about it to the ranch owners. Heh. Knowing talent, I'm sure he did. How unfortunate that the ranch may no longer meet the crown's high standards under new management. The royal family has a backup, I trust? We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high. Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. Very well. Zelda testimony time. The scene behind the door. Oh, let me check court records, profiles. Oh yeah, there we go. Judge, age, who knows? Jolly old man who's presided over some of my cases. Gannondorf Dragmeyer, age 59? Jesus. It looks great. Prosecutor assigned to the case, rude to others, easily angered. Impa, age 34, head of detectives assigned to investigate the case. Zelda, age 14? What? Malin, 27. Alright, they're just kind of making stuff up. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch's owner's chest with the saw she was holding. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. You saw her hacking at his chest, huh? Zelda, you dumb bitch. What? Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed? Yeah. There you go. Decisive testimony. As there's no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. Objection! Hey now, hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. Objection! You haven't, fool, because there is no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said? Objection! Didn't you just say we should follow all procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right. You complete. I believe the defense has a point. They do have a right to perform a cross-examination no matter who is testifying. I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I've only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library. That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations towards the princess. Is that clear? Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? This isn't going to end well. What's gotten into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmeyer didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance. Before we begin, there was just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene? I did see that in the cutscene. I was kind of wondering about that. That would be this, I presume? That perfume, or... Why, yes, that's exactly it. What is that? Oh, this is the bottle. It is. It is. I was right. It is the bottle of perfume that father intended to give to her highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know that the princess was coming instead of the king until only 2 hours before the visitation. So, like, at 6 a.m. he rode out? How thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so. As fascinating as it all is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. Objection, it's very relevant! It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle be accepted into evidence. Desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. Good. I have that now. Let me look at that real quick. Ranch's gift for the princess, bought just before the crime, found at the crime scene. Alright. Alright, Zelda. You little liar. I'm about to press your statements like you wouldn't believe. The scene behind the door. Uh-huh. Let's see. Alright, starting off that. Hold it! You were at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness. That is correct. That's impossible, you're lying. The defendant will curb her outburst. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. Accuse Zelda of the crime? So normally in Phoenix Wright, you have like you're only allowed like so many mistakes, and if you make so many mistakes, you get a game over. I don't know if that's the case in this. You did it! That sounds funny, let's do that. Well, if you were there alone, how can we know you didn't do it? Accusing the princess, pathetic. The defense is truly grasping at straws. You fool! You think a child could overpower a grown adult? One who does hard manual labor every day? And besides, why would the princess ever even want to take the life of a measly ranch owner? Not just any ranch owner, one that the crown has the most successful business relationship with. Idiotic, simply idiotic.
Well, maybe the crown wanted the ranch for themselves?
Has the defense lost their mind? Cease this line of questioning immediately. Perhaps a penalty will disabuse the defense from further unsubstantiated accusations. No! Oh, I didn't take him. Okay, you lose hearts. All right, didn't know. Didn't realize. Didn't realize. Ugh. I extend my most sincere apologies. I don't even know what came over me. Nonetheless, I believe a penalty is warranted.
Okay, yep. Well, that was a stupid thing to say. So let's ask, tell me about that crime scene. Let's really go over this. Where were the victim and the defendant at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table that is directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. Was there? Let me look at that pictograph. Not that one. I guess we actually don't have a picture of the crime scene itself. Okay. I had a rather good view of the whole scene.
Right. It is unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now, please continue.
Alright, so... what was outside? Are you sure there wasn't anyone else at the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon with a courier came asking about milk shipments. He caused a little bit of a scene when the Sheikah force started inspecting it. That worker must have been somewhere else on the ranch, though, I suppose.
The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later.
God, this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. Do I have anything to object with about the large pool of blood? I don't know if I do. I mean, the autopsy report does say he died at a loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Maybe the time is weird. Let's see, let's go back. I could press on the crystal bottle a little bit, I guess. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah force to arrive. Plus, that bottle is quite beautiful. It just stood out. Okay, so didn't really get much out of that. Let's see, when did you arrive? You arrived at a little after 8 a.m. Okay. Hold it! If these guards were with Her Highness, why were they not called as witnesses?
We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently, they didn't get to see anything relevant.
I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I have read that preserving the scene is vital.
Quite correct.
I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order.
Please proceed, witness.
Okay, I'm actually finding... I'm not already starting to struggle where I can try to find a contradiction that I can use with evidence. Let's see. This was my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Lon Lon Ranch. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me, so I was to do it this time.
You will doubtlessly perform admirably as a ruler when time comes.
What happened when you got to the ranch house? Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
And? What then? Stop interrupting.
Sorry. Sorry. You'll never get what you saw?
or just make things up. Are you sure you got a good look then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in panic? The princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There's no need to doubt what she saw. Yes, I suppose what she did was as admirable. If only we had arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. If you'd arrived earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked. Huh. So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable. Objection! That's not what she meant, and you know it. Princess, please go on. Keep pressing this last statement. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Malin didn't do this. What nonsense! Your heart? What do her organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course. Evidence and testimony be damned. Just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare today's verdict. Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke. Much like the arguments the defense has been presenting. That's funny. I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. I didn't do it. To trust authority or your best friend. I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. And I don't know if I quite got that. It might be... She's hacking away. Maybe it is just the autopsy report, because he died from blood loss no later than 8 a.m., but if she arrived at 8, then the attack was already happening. Try that. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. How dare you question the princess? You will let the defense speak, prosecutor. I think I see why you so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? But he's already dead! The visit was scheduled for 8:30, but we were quite a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived. Because he was already dead! Got him. Order! Order! Yes, you've really caught her in her lie. Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court. I haven't lied, I suppose I didn't see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. The pursuit cornered music, but now it's got the Zelda theme in there. That's awesome. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There was no one else that could have done it. I remember all the other details correctly. The body's on the floor. The body's at the floor. The pool of blood? You have to believe me. Perhaps it'd be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I'll have to find something else, or this case will be over. Alright, amend your testimony. What I actually saw. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I didn't see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. That's all I got? Alright. I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime of being committed. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination. Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmeyer still looks pretty angry. I bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess's testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. Okay, what she actually saw. I'm gonna tear Zelda apart.
I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before you went to the ranch house. Miss Mal and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. Had to have happened shortly before you went to the ranch house? I suppose. You can press on that, maybe? How can you be so sure of that, princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded in his body.
This bitch. What?
It's obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so.
Oh my, this seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Interesting. Dragmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Dude's having a heart attack.
Thinking about it, I might just know why.
The murder weapon was still stuck in the victim's body.
So can't I just hit him with, like, the saw? Because it was found in her hands, yeah.
You idiot!
I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged in Talon's body, and the crime scene was left intact,
then it couldn't have been wiped!
Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain?
This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? Objection! Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim.
And then wipe the blade clean?
That would be almost like framing the defendant.
Of course I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact.
Oh, you did, huh?
I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Talon as well.
Yeah.
She can't be reliable. Quick, go check her live journal. She probably made stuff up on there too.
You idiotic girl! Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling?
I'm sorry. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court just this once. Whenever I try telling my father about anything, he always seems so disinterested. Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I'm sorry for the trouble I have caused you all.
Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we'll have to strike your statements from the court record completely.
Yes, I did it! The prosecution lost their key witness.
What an absolutely worthless witness.
No! Please wait! Oh, come on. I have more to say! I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards.
Oh, God. Why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy!
Even if you're not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. Oh, God. Okay. Alright, okay. Zelda, you are making everything so much worse. You're driving me mad. Okay, we'll continue this in at least one more episode. I'm enjoying this because it's Phoenix Wright, and I love this kind of stuff, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. Let me know in the comments down below and all that, and we'll find out what more evidence Zelda could possibly have, and then I'm going to make her look like an idiot for suggesting it. As always, thank you guys so very much for watching. See you next time.